Hey there, Leo. Welcome to your reading for the week of. No, this is your September bonus. Just kidding. You have this Hand of Fate card. It says forces beyond your control intervene. You have this Maiden card. It says new relationship blossom. Yeah, we are in a very fated time here, Leo, because of the two eclipses that we are having. One in Pisces, one in Virgo. The first one's on the 7th. The Virgo one is on the 21st. So eclipses are fate. That's what happens. Fated, fated events, destiny, things like that happen during eclipses. So it doesn't really surprise me that that comes up. Again, pretty much everyone has had at least one card that would represent fate in their reading. All these oracle cards basically have something. So, like I said, it makes perfect sense to me that this would be coming up for you here. Definitely a good time for healing. I really wouldn't worry about the Three of Swords. You are the basically the second to last reading I'm doing this month, and every single person so far has had the Three of Swords. I would say that it's probably the Virgo eclipse, because on top of the Virgo eclipse, we also have the North Node in Pisces, the South Node in Virgo. We also have Chiron in Aries, retrograde. We also have Pluto retrograding, which a lot of people don't talk about this, but there is something about Pluto retrograde. And sorry, I'm going through puberty, so my voice cracked. But what I would say is that Pluto retrograde has to do with healing, and we can heal things, so it is a good month for healing. You start here with your current general energies with the Sun. The Sun, which is amazing. This is how you enter into the Celtic Cross, the first card. And the Sun is obviously a you, Leo. So you are showing up in a very strong position. I feel like you're going to be very happy this month. I think you're going to be very happy with how things go. It's yeah, you have the Three of Swords, but I always like to remind people one card does not make the reading. One card is not going to make the whole entire reading sad. I think you're stuck in your head a little bit too much here, Leo, is what I feel about something. Because you have the Five of Cups in the area of what's on your mind, which we'll talk about in a minute for sure. But it's almost like you're expecting the worst. And I think you need to stop, obviously, doing that. I think you need to, expect the best or expect that things can work out for you, because the Sun is ease. The Sun, it doesn't necessarily things are going to be easy, but it can say that things can have a certain level of ease to them. And that's what I would pay attention to with the Sun card for sure. But definitely a lot of happiness here. Your crossing energy is the Knight of Swords. Crossing energy can be what hurts you or helps you in a Celtic cross. The Knight of Swords is about being too hasty. Now, I'm pretty sure you get this card with me quite a bit, so I definitely wouldn't rush anything this month. I would make sure you're doing things and taking your time, thinking things through, all that other good stuff, right? So I would definitely pay attention with the Knight of Swords and not rush anything. I also get something about rushing a transformation or something. I don't know what that means. I feel like it's saying don't rush a transformation. Didn't I say this to you once, Leo? I'm pretty sure. Just I had major deja vu as I was saying that. I'm pretty sure I said this to you. That I feel like you are more ahead than you realize. But again, what the hell am I talking about? If you are working on a project or a business or something personal, it's it might not be growing as quickly as you want, but I think I literally just said this to you recently. It's popping into my head that you're over here, and it's you it's gonna hit over here. It's you haven't you're ahead of where you think you are, or you're a little bit more innovative than you think. So people just haven't caught up yet. For whatever reason, I feel like this is saying don't quit, especially for those of you that are thinking about it. If you're working on something that is innovative or new, it's people just haven't caught up yet, but they're going to. So, I feel this is saying don't quit as well. Next, in the area of what's on your mind, you have the Five of Cups. Five of Cups is regrets and sadness. So, obviously I would get out of your head here, Leo. The Five of Cups has a very easy solution, which is to turn around and see these two cups, and then he gets this bridge in this castle. So he needs to let go of his past story. He's grieving the loss of this wine that has spilt in front of him. And so the whole point of the card is that he's grieving his loss for something that he no longer enjoys. And so he has to let that go so he can get something better here, Leo. And I definitely feel that. I think you need to, maybe you're too used to disappointment as well, is kind of popping into my head. So I do think it's hard when we have been disappointed too many times to do something again, right? To try again. And I feel this is encouraging you to try something again. But it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to just be love. I think this reading could be talking about anything that you are wanting to work towards, and you will have a victory. You literally go down to the Chariot. The Chariot is a victory, so I would go for it. You have the Two of Cups. Two of Cups can be a perfect match. So if you're looking for love, definitely could be a perfect match coming in for you. This is coming up in your foundation as well. So this could be something that makes you feel very secure. Two of Cups usually starts as communication. Two of Cups is usually a person who's different than your usual type. But again, a lot of people get this nowadays, so it kind of makes sense. I would also say that you have the High Priestess here in the past. So Two of Cups can be you and your higher self. I think it would be a good time with that High Priestess as well, even though she's coming up in the past, but you have this card here to do things to tap into your higher self. We all have different ways of doing that. It doesn't have to be just meditation. It could be through journaling, paying attention to your dreams, dream journaling. All those things would be very good, and that's pretty much what I would work on with the Two of Cups, is working on those things, right? Next, in the area of your past, or the energy you're moving past, you have this Cancer card. It says, nurture all that you love. It says, take time to care for your well-being and nurture the things you love. Yes, definitely. Almost every single one of the readings I've done for this set of bonus readings, people have had cards of nurturing. I think this happened in the September readings as well. So it seems to be one of those months where it's the better you take care of something, even though this is coming up in the past, doesn't matter. The better you take care of things you care about, the better the month will go. You have this Aries card. It says, take the lead. It says, don't wait for others to light the way. It's your time to step up and take the lead. Yes, you are a freaking Leo. It is your time to step into the light. It is your time to step into the sun. The sun is shining on you, Leo, and I feel that but you have to step into that light, right? The thing about the sun is it's like a spotlight in a reading. It shines a light on something we need to pay attention to. It's shining a light on you. That first position in a Celtic cross is you, right? So you need to be the one to get the attention at this time. You need to be the one to stand out and, all that other good stuff, and that's what I would be nurturing. Also in the past, you have the Queen of Pentacles and the High Priestess here. So the High Priestess, I think, is about you needing to trust your intuition. I also feel this is about you needing to believe in your potential, which I'm pretty sure I say to you every single reading. It seems to be a little bit of a theme for you, Leo, that the High Priestess has no roof over her head and represents unlimited potential. But she has to reach her full potential. That's where her success will come from. The Queen of Pentacles is card resourcefulness and using your resources. I don't know. I think this is a challenge that Leo has had to deal with for your entire life. Based off of Leo astrology, I would say most Leos, I don't know that you've been struggling for resources, but I think resources haven't necessarily come easy. But the good news is I think that's about to change. So I think a lot of you, it's people are catching up to you. I think situations are catching up as well. So, I feel pretty good about that in general, is what I would say there. Next, in the area of your future, your very near future, you have this card. It says, process your feelings. You also have this Truth card. Yes, Three of Swords, definitely. We have to process our feelings with the Three of Swords. Those Three Swords are in your own heart. And the trick with the Three of Swords is, number one, forgiveness and letting go of the past. But number two, it could also be, processing your feelings. We're in a time of truth, for sure. I talk about this all the time. There will be a ton of truths that get revealed. There will also be a shift in the truth as well, especially when it comes to authority. We're already kind of seeing this with things like government. And again, this is not a political statement. I'm anti-political. I think the government is a bunch of evil reptile aliens in the first place. So there you go. I'm a crazy person, right? People always like to say, you support this person, you support that person. I'm I don't support any of them. I think they're all garbage, basically. So there you go. That's how I feel. I'm a crazy anarchist type person. So crazier than you think, Leo, right? But what I would say here, is that, we're already seeing this where it's like people are just like not believing the government. Like if this was like the 1950s, everybody would just believe whatever they say. Right? But it's like now we're seeing people that are like, no, that's not true. It's like, it's almost like we're seeing the two worlds splitting, where it's like they just keep lying and people are like, no, we're going to live over here in reality where we already know the truth. Right? And so it's not like the truth will ever be exposed. What's going to happen is people are just going to believe the truth, right? And shift that direction. But we could be doing this on a personal level as well, where it's like we start shifting towards our truths. I've been talking about this for a long time, Neptune and Pisces. Neptune and Pisces is a direct challenge to traditional belief. We will see a lot of people, Neptune is on its way retrograding back into Pisces. It's not there yet, but it will be soon enough. Saturn will be retrograde on the day that I publish this video on the 1st. But that Neptune and Pisces, we're like getting one last little taste of it before it leaves next year. And I think that we'll see all sorts of stuff. Like Neptune and Pisces could be like people leaving religions, leaving belief systems, more people deciding that they, want to do their own thing in life, not what their parents wanted them to do, stuff like that, right? And so a lot of you could be thinking about like any type of truth like that and making those choices. You have the Three of Swords. I really feel this is healing. Like I said, everybody's had this card. So whenever a card like this repeats, it's not saying there's going to be a heartbreak. It's saying that you need to heal your heart, just in general. And I feel it would be an amazing time to do that. It would be an amazing time to, let go of your old story, heal your heart, all that stuff would be good for you here, Leo. I think it would be a good time to let go of your fears that are connected to your heart as well. It is kind of funny that it's popping into my head is fear, Leo. Normally I wouldn't, the Three of Swords really isn't fear, but, I read intuitively and that's what I'm getting. It's like some of you might have some fears about like what you commit to or what your heart belongs to, and not just love. Again, this is like everything. And so I feel a lot of you could be like working on those ideas. Next, in the area of your outcome row, you have this commit card and this immerse card. Yes, I mean, this is one of my favorite things for everyone right now. It would be this. Like, if I could give everybody this energy, it would be good. Because, especially with Neptune and Saturn moving into Aries next year, they're retrograding out. But again, astrology is like a wave. You want to catch that wave early, so you might as well start now. We need to, like, pick one thing, fully commit to it, and immerse ourselves in it and learn the ins and outs of it, and that's where success will come from, right? This goes for love, business, projects, personal issues, health, everything. We need to like really dive deep and understand the ins and outs of things, and if we do, then we will be successful. So, I see a lot of you could be committing to something. Definitely could be a love commitment for those of you that want it. Next, in the area of the next few months, you have the Chariot, which is amazing. The Chariot is a victory. The Chariot is you winning as well, Leo. So I do feel like a lot of you could be winning at this time, or there could be some big wins coming in for you with the Chariot. The Chariot is as above, so below. I say this to you all the time, Leo. I think that Leo is probably one of the number one signs right now that would benefit from being in alignment with what you want. The other thing that I would say is, as a fixed sign, Leo, I feel that you would benefit from really setting yourself apart, especially because, Pluto is in your opposite sign, Aquarius. There's something about it, Leo, and I'm probably going to say this to you a million more times, but it's really important. Like, if I were a Leo, this is probably what I would focus on the most, is setting myself apart, not doing what I think I should do, but doing what I know I should do. Here's the difference, is I think the challenge for Leo is the things that you think you should do are what everybody else thinks you should do, not you. There's a big difference, right? I've definitely noticed this with Leo, where Leo will say, oh, I want to, I want to feed all the starving children of the world, which is great. I'm not hating on that goal, right? But is that what you want to do? No, probably not. There's probably something that you truly want to do, and there's a big difference, right? I always tell people, it's like, here's the thing, is like, you might want to do those altruistic things in your life, and again, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's like, how are you going to do it? That's what I think you need to think about. It's like, yeah, that's a great goal, but it's like, what are you going to do to make that happen? That's what you really want to be doing, right? So I think that for a lot of you, you could be thinking about that with the Chariot. I also feel like there could be a lot more movement. It wouldn't surprise me if over the next few years you did a lot of like movement. I'm not saying moving necessarily, although definitely you could be moving over the next several years. But I also feel that you could just be, there are just a lot of moving pieces in your life, like a lot going on. And, I think this will lead to some victories for sure. Next, in the area of your closest relationships, sure, you have the Emperor. I mean, you literally could be attracting an Emperor or an Empress, take it how it resonates. But, you could be attracting an Emperor-type person. You could be the Emperor. Like I said, take it how it resonates. But I definitely feel that there could be like a bossed-up person coming in for you, Leo. I'm pretty sure this has come up for you before as well. I feel like this is a person who's good at, like, opportunity. The Emperor is really good at just taking advantage of opportunities. That might be something that stands out for you. This could also be, again, this part of the reading represents your closest relationships, so all relationships. And the Emperor can represent, kind of like taking the lead. So a lot of you could be taking the lead in your closest relationships with the Emperor card showing up here. You have the Two of Swords. Two of Swords is coming up in the area of your future feelings. Two of Swords is like this or that thinking. She's trying to protect her heart, like I said. I do feel like you need to realize, I don't know. I'm not saying that you shouldn't protect your heart, Leo, right? But I almost feel that you need to realize that if you're looking for love, there could be a person coming in where it's like you don't have to protect your heart. And again, I'm not saying that you shouldn't put up boundaries and things like that, right? But again, maybe you're attracting a person who just won't break your heart, right? I also feel, you get this card with me a lot. You also get like the Eight of Swords with me a lot. I look at those two cards, I should say, this card and the Eight of Swords, which you don't have, although that could change, as cards of needing to find other ways of doing things. She's thinking this or that, but there's like a new opportunity behind her that would be much better for her. So I think you need to stay open to opportunity. You have the Ten of Pentacles as your outcome, which is freaking amazing. Ten of Pentacles is everything you want and desire in your life. It forms the tree of life. And so literally you could be focused on building, leaving a legacy. I feel like, as I've been saying to you for years now, that all fixed signs are focused on this right now, because of Uranus and Taurus. Right now, Uranus is in Gemini, but Uranus will be retrograding into Taurus on November 7th. It's going to retrograde before then, but it doesn't get back into Taurus until then. And so, I don't know. I think a lot of you could be definitely focused on building, leaving a legacy, or, building new things in your life that lead to a lot of abundance, which is great. It will be great, is what I should say. So, let's see here. With the Sun and the Knight of Swords, I said it. You have to step into the light, right? You have to do something here to stand out. I know it sounds very simple, but I kind of feel like for you to get the abundance on the Ten of Pentacles, I think you have to stand out, right? The Hermit is staying in hermit mode. He has to get out of hermit mode. Same thing if you want love. I think you have to do something to, stand out or get attention or, whatever the case may be. And so, yeah, that's what I would do there. With the Five of Cups, you have the Four of Cups. Fear. It's like, I feel like you are afraid that you're not going to get something. Didn't we say something about disappointments, Leo? I don't really remember, if I'm being honest, but he has these 3 cups in front of him and this 4th cup right here. He's been disappointed like 3 times before, so he's afraid of accepting this new cup right here. I think you need to be not afraid to accept something, or it's like you need to not be afraid of, allowing something into your life here, whatever it is. Could be a love offer, could be anything. But, what he needs to realize is that if he applied what he learned from these past situations to this new situation, he would be very successful. And that's like all you need to do. With the Two of Cups, you have the Justice card. Yeah, Justice, like if you are afraid of love, which is fine, some of us are, right? I think the Justice card is just saying pay attention to the evidence, right? There's nothing to fear when we pay attention to what is happening. I always say people tell on themselves right away in connections, right? So if you pay attention to the evidence and what's going on, then you'll be fine. If you're with a person who says something and they do it, then they are a person of their word. Good, right? That's a good person. If you are with a person who always says things and they don't do it, whatever they say, then that is bad. That is not a good person. If you meet a person and they tell you on the first date that they've cheated on their past 20 exes, don't just sit there and giggle. Get up and leave, right? It's not funny. So, people tell on themselves you should pay attention. With the, whatever this was, Queen of Pentacles and the High Priestess, you have the Nine of Cups. Yeah, Nine of Cups is like wish fulfillment. I almost feel that this is saying you're not or I don't know how to put this, Leo, but I do feel it's encouraging you to not wish any longer. But I don't mean, that doesn't mean you can't have wishes. It just means maybe you're entering into more of a time of doing instead of just wishing, right? And again, there's nothing wrong with Nine of Cups energy. I'm not like hating on the energy here or anything. I just feel the reading itself is saying, it would be a good time for you to be in that doing space, right? And that's what I would do there. With the Three of Swords, you have the King of Swords. Yeah, hard to read. Haven't I said this to you before? I'm pretty sure. You could be attracting an air sign or someone with air in their chart or something, but, what I would say here is I'm wondering if it's like a hard to read situation that's going on here, because the King of Swords can be a little hard to read. Now, this could just be a person you've never talked to before or a person you haven't met yet, or, maybe you're an admirer of a person or something and you're just not sure yet. I don't know. Take it how it resonates. But, King of Swords is usually a very mature person. So, you could be attracting someone who's older than you, more mature than you, whatever. With the Chariot, here you go. Are you kidding? You have the Lovers. So definitely love coming in here. This could be a lot of movement in love as well. It could be something that moves forward very quickly. Could be moving for love as well for some of you. So, it's like if you're traveling or, if you're traveling and you meet a person or something, I don't know, that story is popping into my head. Like you could be, if you're traveling over the next few months anywhere, it's like maybe you meet a person randomly or something and, that could be good, but definitely very good for love. This could also represent a new path. You have the Chariot. He's leaving, the Chariot, he's charging away from that city behind him. So he's kind of picking a new path. The Lovers traditionally was a card of being at a crossroads and having a choice to make. So, a lot of you could be picking a new path. And now, this would be like divinely guided. This right here is your higher self angel. And so, a lot of you could be being guided in new directions in life. With the Emperor, you can't make this up. You have the Emperor. It's like, that's double confirmation. Like, if you are wondering if someone is your Emperor or your Empress, the answer is yes. It's very clear there, Leo. I would say that's a big fat yes for sure on something there. Definitely a leader. I don't know. It's like sometimes King of Swords. One thing I will say is this is like a little bit of a stubborn energy, maybe. Like, you could be attracting a stubborn person, but this might, I don't know, it's kind of popping into my head that this person could be stubborn in a good way. Like, in the sense that, like, when they set their mind to something, they do it, right? And this person definitely could be, like the captain of the ship here, as well as popping into my head. So, I don't know. Like, the reason I bring this up is because, like sometimes, like, I don't know. If you think you're going to be in charge, probably not. Like, you might be saying that you are. But I don't know. This person, they could definitely give you a run for your money. But maybe that's a good thing, right? Maybe being with a person who challenges you in the right ways is good. So, there you go. With the Two of Swords, you have the Two of Pentacles. This is about getting to work on that new island that's behind you here, Leo. I think you need to... Leo, if you are working at anything new, I feel like you need to have more fun with it, is what this is saying. It just feels a little bit too stiff to me. I don't, like, this is not a criticism or, I don't necessarily think this is a bad thing either, Leo. I just feel like it's saying that if you're working on a new project, new ideas, new businesses, new things, that you should be having more fun with it. That you should just be enjoying it more. I think there needs to be a little bit more enjoyment. It's like sometimes we take things too seriously, and it's too serious, right? And so it's popping into my head. With the Ten of Pentacles, here you go. You have the Ace of Pentacles. Yeah, it's like a new big opportunity. This would be an opportunity that you're getting that could lead to the Ten of Pentacles. Could be anything, right? Could be love, money, business, spirituality, just like a random offer. So, I don't know. It looks good to me here, Leo. Yeah, this looks amazing. You have this chair filled. It says someone new is entering your life. Yes, absolutely. And some of you might be saying, number one, as well, a lot of people tell me, I don't want love. I'm like, well, fine, but that doesn't mean that it can't enter into your life. That doesn't mean that someone can't be interested in you. You don't have to say yes, but it's here. So don't be surprised. And, this could also just be a friend as well. You have this dog card. It says protection from a powerful friend. Yes, I think you are protected at this time. So I do feel a lot of you could be finding protection here. You have this horseshoe card. It says good luck. Yeah, I think luck is on your side here, Leo, is what this is really saying. It's like saying that like whatever chances you're thinking about taking at this time, really luck is on your side. You have this flowers card. It says happiness. Literally, that was like the first thing I said to you with the sun was that you are going to be very happy. So I think there's a lot of happiness, joy. I think there are a lot of reasons to be joyful. But on top of that, with that Two of Pentacles, that Two of Pentacles, I think is saying you need to come from a position of joy. I think that will be the thing that leads to more happiness in your life. Like whatever you're working on. It feels like work to me, Leo. Again, not a criticism, but, sometimes I think we do take things too seriously. And it's like if we just have more fun with it, then things will flow better. You have this dark man card that says dealings or relationships with a man with dark complexion or hair. Sure, you could be attracting a darker person or whatever. You have this boat. I always clarify these people cards. It says money or property through an inheritance, winning or windfall. Yes. It could be a person with money, Leo, that you are attracting, or someone who is very successful at life in general. And, that could be, definitely, I don't know. I get a very serious, and how crazy is this, Leo? I literally said captain on that emperor card. And there's a freaking boat right here. I'm telling you right now, this person, I do feel like this person's a little bit stubborn, but like in a good way. It's like, this would definitely be a person with a backbone. This is probably a person who's not afraid to tell you off, like in a good way. It's like, obviously, we don't want to date people who are disrespectful, but, at the same time, you don't want to date a freaking worm either, right, that has no backbone. So, again, I think this is a person that will be respectful, but, they might, if you don't like something that they're doing, they might just be like too freaking bad. They might have a backbone, right? And which, again, I don't necessarily think that's always a bad thing as long as there's respect, right? So, yeah, pretty interesting here, Leo. I like it. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your month.